Sip Squad Fly Boys, that's my logo. You already know though. It's PBS and Nation Gang, my niggas getting dodo. You pussy niggas, Frodo's fucking hobos looking so-so. 4K shot in slow-mo, haters salty like adobo. But Coco, we get loco. Hit them cashes, so no. You rap it, then we live it, cause we Stokely on the promo. We classy, Freddy, blasty, bitches, why you acting sassy? Can't stop and I won't stop. Guess I'm Diddy to your Cassie. No shiny suits, I'm spazzing. You ashy, I'm so flashy. Talking out your ass, goddammit, I'm just speaking cash shit. Haters get the shaking like they mama named the cash shit. Father, all these rap wrestlers pay homage to me bastards. Sorry, I don't claim you. That's just what this fame do. Oh, you ain't down with Dream Team. Middle finger.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the most talked about, fastest rising podcast / YouTube show ever. And that is Top Rope Wrestling Talk. So joining me, as always, on my camera and my screen, right down below me, right down there is the lovely Grandma Wendy, Miss Latina Heat herself.
And the First Lady of Top Rope.
And the First Lady. Her nicknames are growing. That's like 295 now.
Maybe 207, but we're getting close. Anyway.
Viva la raza! If you're not cheating, you're not crying.
And diagonally, right down there in the other corner, is
downward.
Man that oozes creative machismo, the walking contradiction, Evil Evan. And the guy right over there on my screen is none other than the producer, the soundboard extraordinaire, the jack of all trades, the master of none. Dom. I keep fucking that thing up. Like I feel like this.
I'll get it right one of these days.
Counterintuitive.
The menu. I'll get it right one of these days, folks. We promise.
Hey, damn, that's a cold ass honky.
I am.
And me, I am none other than the high class one, the MJF Mark himself, high class.
Otherwise known as Bruce.
Yes, I am.
And he knows it.
Yes, I do.
Yes, he does.
So wrestling this week, you guys kind of had this discussion, and I was kind of on the outside looking in today with work and stuff, but it was rather a lackluster, or their lack of luster this week in the world of wrestling. It wasn't too exciting. I mean, we had stuff that happened, but
I'll say WWE wasn't too exciting. Raw,
but they have
not at all.
Two matches all night.
I think in the first half of Raw, like 90 minutes, they had two matches, not including like the 30-second double count out between Baszler and Nia. Like, that was the first match I was actually looking forward to because it was different. Shayna was going to be on. I was like, oh, let me tune in. And
yeah,
I blinked.
The waste of Shayna.
It was over.
Bait and switch.
Yeah. It wasn't very good. Not very good at all. Yeah, and I'll tell you.
Was it disappointing?
Hell yeah. I mean, haven't seen Shayna for a while. Wondered if she really could take Nia because, I mean, you've seen them a couple of times, but.
But she could take Nia. Get the fuck out. She could do it.
Yeah.
I know, but Nia's a big woman. Like, she's got a huge weight advantage. She could just sit on the bitch.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So you're worried.
You know what? You know what I've learned at 5 feet? You hoof them once in the knees, you bring them down to your height, and then you end it.
Okay, facts. Touche. But it was still going to be, I thought it was going to be interesting. I was horribly wrong, so therefore I was disappointed.
You expected too much.
I expected 30 seconds.
Hey.
Jinx.
WWE was listening to their fans. They were bitching because Baszler wasn't on TV, so we got Baszler for 10 seconds. She was on TV.
I guess.
They listened.
I think they spent more time kicking the crap out of like WWE security than one another, to be totally honest.
I seen that Nia Jax got like fined or something stupid for beating up officials. I was like,
she Samoan dropped a ginger, goddammit. Fine. Gingers are people too. It was terrible. It really was. And if that wasn't, like that was bad enough. And then we had Bruce Pritchard's comments out of the blue about Nick Aldis, saying that Aldis couldn't.
I didn't see that. What did he say?
He was saying that basically Aldis couldn't cut it at WWE because he doesn't have that it factor.
Yeah.
And I'm summing up because he's a little long-winded. Obviously, by his programming, he's a little long-winded. But that was the gist of it. And then Nick came back on Busted Open Radio and really put him on.
Laid it out. He blasted him.
He basically told Bruce flat out, or I'll say Brother Love, because I don't want anyone to get confused with High Class. So he told Brother Love point blank and plain, when I was headlining Impact as their champion at its peak, I drew 1.5 million viewers. So I guess if I had that it factor, I might have got the 1.56 million that you got last week, which was the worst Raw ever. I'm so sorry. I must be horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And now the question that I have for you guys is, do you really think, Brother Love was anywhere near right on Nick Aldis? Like, could he doesn't have the it factor? He couldn't cut it at WWE. Like, are we even going to give this guy any credit for being close or in the ballpark, or is he just an idiot?
Well,
he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's a retard. Like Aldis, I saw his reply on Busted Open. He basically called Pritchard a dumbass and said, he's got friends in the upper higher class in WWE, and they've been telling him how great of a job he's been doing. So yeah,
the ratings show it too, because he managed to improve from the worst to the second worst ratings this week. So way to go, Brother Love. Moving on up. A new level of mediocrity. Congratulations. By the way, Paul Heyman was averaging 1.9 million viewers. Where are you at?
I think it totally comes off as like a guy just with sour grapes. Like Bruce Pritchard just seems like upset the fact that Aldis was killing it in Impact, now has stepped away and doing his thing with the NWA. And we've seen him with the belt. We've seen him run as the the champ with the suits and all that. It's amazing. And it clearly seems like a guy who's coming from like a just out of spite. Like, we can't have him. We can't touch you. So we didn't want you anyways. You weren't up to par. It was, I don't know, it just makes no sense. Like I said, we've seen the guy in the ring. We've seen the guy on the mic. And if that's not the it factor, then I guess I'm an idiot because
you and me both, bro. Because honestly, when a few weeks ago, when people like me and Felipe said like Nick Aldis would probably be a mid-carder in WWE, that wasn't a knock on Nick Aldis. That was a knock on WWE. And even going to the comments, like Felipe sitting here saying, I hope Nick never shows up in WWE. He'll get the EC3 treatment. That's why I said if he was lucky, he'd be a mid-carder. It has nothing to do with Aldis. The man is an amazing performer in the ring, on the mic. Yeah. He has the look. He has the talent, everything. He resurrected a company from practical death. And the only reason they're not doing well right now is because they shut down due to COVID. I mean, honestly, if NWA Power was on Monday night, even on YouTube and at the same time as Raw, which would you watch?
Power, definitely. Like
Power all the way.
Power.
Hands down.
So, Brother Love can talk all the shit that he wants about Nick Aldis, but the fact remains that the four of us and a lot of other people that I know, if they were given the option, watching Power on Monday night instead of Raw. Because I think one night they did have Power on a Monday, and I was like, screw Raw, and I put on YouTube. So I've done it before. I'll do it again.
At this point, WWE is so, in the shitter. NWA could do another Carney Land-like thing, and I'll watch that before I watch Raw.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
An hour of fucking William Patrick Corgan playing guitar, not singing anything. He's just sitting there strumming, staring at the camera.
Yeah.
And I'll before I watch Raw.
Yeah, seriously, Billy
It's been like
Corgan
3
could
weeks
just
since I last watched it.
Billy Corgan could read the back of like a Tide Pods box and for an hour, and I'd watch that over Raw. Nick Aldis could do his laundry on YouTube, and I'd watch that over Raw. So there's your it
Wow.
factor, okay? I feel like we need some humor too. So I know we were talking about, you know, being 5 feet and everything being high ceilings for you before we came on the show. Well, our buddy Chuck in the thread here from Sports Cruise, which I love, said, I know a lot of girls that are 5 feet that I have to go down on. I'm 6'1". Ayo!
Ah,
Ba-doom. Just a quick laugh. But shout out to everybody in the feed. We appreciate it.
We get it.
Yeah, even Max says I'll take any other option on Monday at this point. And yeah, you're not far off. Now we did have something that kind of tied into this that Wendy had. She's distracted. Wendy had kind of brought up before we got on the air. Kind of had something to do with the TNT title and Cody and all that good stuff.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Grandma had something great to contribute.
The
As
bourbon
per
banana.
usual.
Yeah, bitch. Better.
Ooh, the bourbon banana. I need that.
Sorry, I gotta find it because I can't remember what I was talking about.
A boot.
A
Oh,
boot.
that's
You're
right. A boot.
boot?
We were talking about.
She got straight up Canadian out of nowhere.
A boot. I'm so sorry,
Hey.
you guys.
Hey.
Next thing you know, Impact is going to steal her from us. Oh, Canadian.
What was it we were talking about? Someone refresh my memory.
Cody challengers or fantasy booking Cody's run with the TNT title.
Sounds like you're
Somewhere
guessing.
along pretty much along those lines.
I'm heading back to it because I thought you had it.
I
I stepped out
recording
for a
on my
bit.
phone.
The heat just like fried my brains. Here, we discuss how we feel about Cody's run as champ and the lack of a proper rivalry.
Ah, yes. I was just getting to that myself. Thank you, Grandma Wendy. Yeah. I definitely dig Cody's run with the TNT title. It's definitely been different, between the open invitations and the, giving guys that don't typically get in the title picture shots. I think that's cool. The biggest problem I have with it is the fact that like every week there's going to be somebody new. Like there's not that feud that he had like all throughout Dynamite, like whether it be with MJF or Jericho or going back all the way, all the way to his brother. The matches with Darby Allin, his own brother. There were a lot of rivalries that were really heated and really intense and had really nice builds to them. And now with the TNT title, it's just I put on a great match and I put guys over, which is cool. But at the same time, you do need that.
It's gotten repetitive.
You do need that guy,
Week after week after week, we know what's going to happen. I mean, even that Lance Archer rivalry was what, blink of an eye, and it was
That's what
done.
I was about to say. You need a guy like
it was for the tournament.
You need a guy like the Murder Hawk to jump back in the picture and kind of get that feud reignited with Cody to really solidify his run, because that's where it all began. And if you haven't noticed, the Murder Hawk has kind of been forgotten about and kicking people's ass left, right, and center in the back, throwing them through ceilings, doing all this stuff. And they really don't have anything for him. So it would be perfect to put him in a feud with Cody again and build up to like a TNT title match at All Out, for instance. But without that rivalry, it just feels weird. I know even he got asked in an interview about who he'd like to face. And outside of AEW, he brought up Nick Aldis, which, duh. I mean, they've had great matches. And then in AEW, he brought up MJF, because obviously they had a bit of rivalry, and we're going to get into him a little more later, but his promo was fire, and he's obviously looking to get in a title picture. Why not with Cody? And Kenny Omega, who he split 2 matches with in other places. So, the rubber match there might actually make some sense if one of them is no longer in the elite. So his makes sense. We had a bunch of people actually answering this question, like who they wanted to see Cody face. And our buddy Kadrian on Twitter, who I personally love, because he always hits us up, asks us questions. He gave us 4 names, and 3 of them I'm okay with. I want to run them by you guys. He gave us Pentagon Jr., yes, Ray Phoenix, of course, Jeff Cobb, and Ryback.
How does Ryback make
You
that
just felt
list?
like the train was going to make the station, and then I said Ryback, and it went boom right off the track.
Oh, yeah, it was like we were on the track,
What
on the
Ryback?
track, on
Was
the
he high?
track, and then it's like as soon as you said Ryback, like right before the train hit the station, it just it imploded. Exactly.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel you
Ryback,
on 3 of those. I'd be totally okay with it, Kadrian. The last one, not so much.
Like
I
they
can
can.
right back.
Of course, you would say that.
Yeah. No, so here's the thing. We have been conditioned to thinking that things have to be done the WWE style, where a guy comes in and like we own them forever, and they're like fucking tied to bonded for life. I would be totally down if AEW could work out a deal like territory style dates, where Ryback you're gonna come in maybe for just like 6 weeks, 6-7 weeks, we're gonna build up the next pay-per-view, comes in, challenges Cody, pulls up the upset, dethrones the fucking American Nightmare, our Golden Boy champion. Ryback gets the belt, does his own open challenge for a few weeks, defends it against Janela, defends it against the Dark Order, might be one of those guys.
I'm fucking tired of open challenges, man.
I
I just have a fucking rivalry already.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Well, you know how Captain Curveball is too. Go ahead, Bruce.
Cody can still keep his open challenge. Now, hear me out. In order to listen, Wendy, stop rolling your head.
I'm listening.
Listen, Linda.
She's biting her tongue. I can see.
No, see, he can keep his open challenge and build a rivalry. Let's just take Lance Archer.
Yeah.
He can come out every week and get Cody disqualified in his matches and keep building that rivalry back up to the next pay-per-view, or said with another individual like the Dark Order. Keep your open challenge, but build your rivalry on the side and have the big payoff match at the pay-per-view. Okay,
yeah, that would work too. I want to throw it to Grandma Wendy because she's biting her tongue and I can see the heat building.
Literally doing my lip right now. No, I'm going back to the conversation. Because the conversation I had with Felipe this morning, we were discussing it. And that's what I've been scrolling through our whole conversation here. So in the conversation, and Felipe, pop in if I'm wrong, just send me a message. Basically saying, in Cody's matches, it's gotten to the point, and I agree with him. We know what's going to happen. It's not thrilling anymore. It's gotten kind of boring with this open challenge week after week, new guy. And a lot of these new guys, it feels, are like these, let's say, unknowns are targeted more towards the people who know rather than the average viewer, which, okay, all right. But, you have these casual viewers that are like, who the fuck even is this dude? I don't even know. So you should at least give us some sort of backstory or something to at least introduce these people to the casual viewer. So it's not like I, who follow Warhorse on Twitter, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. But other people are like, who's this like skinny looking Ultimate Warrior wannabe?
How does this guy get a title match?
Right.
Exactly. At least give us a reason why. Like give us a little quick minute and a half, 2-minute package of like
you did
this
for
is why
Ricky
we're
Starks.
Like you did,
like
yes.
You did for
Yes, I was just going to bring that up. Like Ricky Starks, he had like a whole little backstory vignette, and then he came to the ring and they had a match. Okay, you gave us a little bit of story, you gave us a little bit of background, you had the match, it was amazing, that's good. But then some of these other, like if you, I mean, obviously more people know Eddie Kingston, but you would have not known that he was calling out Cody Rhodes unless you really pay attention to wrestling or you really pay attention to like social media and wrestling. He had been doing that for weeks. he then did it on Dynamite, and people were like, "Wow, that's amazing!" And I'm sitting there thinking, "This is like the third time I've seen it this week. Like, it's no longer amazing to me, but for the casual viewer, they're like, wow."
Yeah.
I guess my question to Grandma Wendy is like, okay, so you want Cody to start a rivalry. Who would you start Cody in a rivalry with for the team?
But if we do a rivalry, though, let's not play the same old song that he's played with MJF, Spears, and now with Matt Cardona, FK, Zack Ryder. Because this was another thing Felipe and I discussed, where it's this is my homie, oh no, he betrayed me. That storyline played out.
Okay.
Play us a new song.
I don't think it's gonna be like if him and Cardona have a match for the title. And Matt goes over. I don't think it'll be like a best friend turning situation.
I hope not, because Wendy's right. They've done that a couple of times now between Spears, between MJF. Like, everybody but his brother has basically screwed Cody so far in AEW.
And then the last thing we discussed was he and I discussed was Arn Anderson. What does he bring to the table? Why is he even there?
His play sheet. He's got his football. He's got
the play sheet.
He's become a joke with the little paper, his little string paper,
turned into
his sweater vest. Oh.
He's turned into like Dave Chappelle playing Prince. He's like, okay, Cody, we're gonna run Computer Blue. Darling Pinky, go. I don't know exactly what Arn does. I know that when he came along, Cody was kind of struggling, and then obviously Cody ended up winning a championship. I don't know how much of that has to do with Arn. I'm just saying that's the time frame that we're looking at. I don't really have a problem with Arn much as I think they ought to.
Superfluous.
I think they ought to give like a mix of what he does as champion. Like, it shouldn't be all open challenges and all rivalries. It should be, okay, I'm going to have an open challenge. Then so-and-so is going to come out, and we're going to start a feud this month that culminates somewhere. And then I'll go back to having an open challenge. If they switched it up a little bit, it would probably keep it more interesting. But just doing one over and over and over again, like it's like, okay, I've already heard this song. I've already done this dance. I know how it ends. I know the band. Like, we're good. Can we move on? That was cool. Can we do something else? If I were to put him into a rivalry now for the TNT title, and I'm not even saying give me all this backstabbing bullshit, just start a feud with Matt Cardona. I mean, you could go any fucking way with it. You could do, I respect you, I want a shot at you, or I'm legit now, I'm no longer a goof or just a gimmick. I want to show you what I can do, and kind of have them go back and forth, like where they save each other out of respect, but they're still going to fight. And eventually you get to like all out, have a match, tear the house down, and people would enjoy that. And then maybe you could go back to an open invitation. It's not like you have to just do one or the other. You can mix it up. You have the ability to do any fucking thing you want to do.
Hold on. Our hobo friend just said Arn is there to form the new Horsemen. It doesn't seem like it's Arn. It seems like it's Tully who's there to do that.
Well, I did notice, obviously, on Dynamite that he walked in and helped FTR kind of, work the negotiations to sign their contracts. It was in their ear and that kind of stuff. And it's been reported that FTR are going to be part of the Horsemen. So you start to see that direct connection when he comes in.
But then you saw Tully in the audience being like, I see y'all. And they're like, we do Tully. So who is it? Are they both going to form like rivalry?
I was going to say, why not both?
Rivaling for Horsemen, heels and face Horsemen.
Because if you're going to have like Spears and Cody in it, like it's been reported, you're going to have Tully and Arn backing them up. So why not both?
Yeah, it was originally slated to be both of them. It was to be Tully and Arn. Yeah. As like the mouthpieces and coaches or manager for the Horsemen. Instead of just having one like the original Horsemen had, they're gonna have two. So it's not the same.
That's me. We even have Felipe saying, like, remember that Cody was super hot before the TNT title. Cody doesn't really need Arn or any manager. No, I agree. No. I don't think
he doesn't even need a title, to be honest.
But, having him as the first TNT champion and having him, put these guys over even in losses and maybe create new opportunities, like that's working for AEW. But the same old open invitation week after week after week after week eventually gets stale. And you as AEW got to know when to mix it up and say, all right, let's cut these challenges off for a minute, or do something like Brucey said with Archer, where Cody has the challenges, but somebody keeps coming out and interrupting and fucking him up, and it leads to something bigger, or a build to a match down the line. You know, that kind of stuff would keep it fresh. But you just keep kind of recycling the same thing. And as Evan and I said, that's kind of the problem that we have with WWE at the moment, where they just take the same pay-per-view format and they do it over and over and over again. Like the same WrestleMania format has been done at Money in the Bank, at Backlash, at Extreme Rules. Just a couple of matches, couple championships, couple cinematic matches maybe, and we're done. Every time. And while it might have been cool at first, now you're just like, I'm done with this. And it feels like the invitational tournament or the invitational thing for Cody and the open challenge is getting to be like that.
Yeah.
Because we've had, 6-7 weeks of it now? You know, a couple
Pretty
of guys
much, yeah.
from outside the company. And I do appreciate the people like Jungle Boy and Sonny Kiss and all that got title opportunities. That's cool. But eventually, if you want to keep the shine on that title too, you got to get a top tier challenger for that title. And people, I mean, no offense to Sonny or Jungle Boy or anything like that, love them. No offense to Warhorse or Ricky Starks, but you know, there are people in AEW that are looking for title shots that aren't getting them, that are probably bigger names or on that next level. And that's where you need to go with it every once in a while to keep it fresh, to keep the title meaning something. Otherwise, I mean, I hate to like knock on Matt Cardona, but it's just the internet title. Like, I have it. It don't mean jack, but I have it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Evil Evan is so quiet again, and it bothers me. Do you have anything to add to this, my wonderful creative friend?
I would like to see Cody come out, announce an open challenge, and then we have Eddie Kingston come back out. And Eddie Kingston tell him, you know, cut the bullshit. It's just like you just said. It's getting played out. You bring in less than talent that's not even worthy of a title. Guys that don't deserve it. When I know you're the son of the godfather, whatever, the plumber, and you'll throw all the stuff. They take it real, and Eddie Kingston say, you know what? All hours, double nothing, whatever your next big pay-per-view is, me and you, fuck the open challenge. We got 3 weeks. Let's settle this shit. And Cody, and that's it. And then the challenger stops. We get that feud. We get that blood money feud. Because that pay-per-view that Eddie Kingston cut actually was in.
Yeah.
And if you weren't a fan of Eddie Kingston before, I guarantee you were looking him up and you were trying to figure out and see more of this guy. Because that shit was real. That was an intense thing that the other challenges didn't have. He didn't need no entrance. He didn't have the Dallas traders coming out like Sonny Kiss did. He just came out and cut the truth. He said, you know what? You think you're all that? I don't think you are. And I would love to see that feud continue. I would love to see Eddie Kingston.
I love this. I love the you don't know the grind thing and all that.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
I think, and if we are going to have to go with this, you know, crazy challenge where we're pulling, you know, rabbits out of hats and random contenders, I would love to see Chris Hero come in into AEW and make a name, take that title, and hold on to it for a while.
Right.
He took so much of a chance in NXT. They kicked him off to the UK, and he was lost in the shuffle. He is a fucking amazing talent. I love the AEW.
No, I hear you. I mean, and I got to give a shout out to Eddie Kingston, because that promo that he cut on Dynamite had just as much like fire and passion behind it than when he did it the first time at like the ICW show he was at. And just to be able to bring that out of you, to do something, you know, to say something you've already said, really shows, you know, the kind of guy that he is, the kind of competitor that he is, the kind of wrestling talent that he really is. So Eddie, I hope we see you in AEW again. I really do. You deserve it.
I want to see Eddie backstage with the proud and powerful and say, look, pendejos, and fucking wake up.
I've been saying that. I've been saying that. We said that last week.
We've all been waiting for that spark, that one thing to turn them back into pit bulls that we've seen in Impact with, you know, the LAX name. We know what they have, and I think Eddie Kingston's that fire that they can light underneath these guys, and enough with the fucking burritos and enough with the chancla jokes, and these guys just, you know, tear it.
Enough slipping in orange juice, motherfuckers. We're getting serious. You know, that kind of thing. But you know, and
think
it would
anything
be
is that
a
part.
win-win for all four of us because I would enjoy it, Evan would enjoy it, Bruce would be right because Proud Powerful would probably lead the inner circle, and then Wendy would be happy because they'd be winning. So win 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 win. Now, if we can
It's all around.
if we can keep on this Cody thing for 1 second, because he also mentioned in the same interview that I brought up that the second show is coming in 4 to 6 weeks. He was also saying there's going to be a new type of talent on this show. And while I know it's probably not going to happen, a lot of people knock me for it, but I've said it on this show before. How excited would you be if that new talent was NWA? Because they didn't say who they were bringing in. They didn't say how they were doing it. They didn't say any format. They just said there will be new talent, like not our roster talent. What if that
It would
not
be great
our
to see
roster
Camille take
talent?
on someone.
Right?
Yeah, what?
Like the question mark shows up on this AEW show. I'm gonna mark right the fuck out.
Well, they could
Bruh,
literally.
the question versus Evil Uno.
Yes. Winner has to lose their orangutan titties. Or loser loses their orangutan titties.
Loser has to do fucking 100 push-ups to get rid of their titties.
Right in the middle of the ring after the match. Doesn't matter if you're bloody, you're hurt.
And then
Get them push-ups going. Eli Drake challenge. Do it now.
you get Jesse Goddard out there, Mr. Spectacular, to show them
Right?
fucking proper pec fucking workouts.
The proper push-up, give him one arm and everything.
They do the whole,
Beautiful.
The whole titty flex pop thing that Batista
Even if
can
it
do.
wasn't, even if it wasn't like a mix of AEW and NWA talent, even if it was just like an NWA power type show as AEW's second show, I would be so in for it. And people are like, oh no, Billy would never do that. It would never work. Why the hell not? NWA hasn't done anything in like a month. Like no Carneyland, no shows, no nothing. You know, their talent is just sitting there. You mean to tell me you wouldn't want to see them on a national network, even if it was partnering with AEW, and they did have those type of matches? Like you wouldn't want to see Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus James Storm and Eli Drake. Really? You wouldn't want to see that? I would.
No, because I want Hangman and Kenny to go their separate ways.
I do too.
So
but
no,
I'm
I
saying,
don't
Oh
want
my
to see
God,
that.
yeah.
I'm saying we got two of the craziest mixed match tag teams that hold belts right now. You got the NWA champions in Drake and Storm. You got Page and Omega. Could you imagine those four coming together for a match? Shit, have they even ever
Camille
been in the
versus
same
Sheeta.
ring?
Forget the dudes.
That
I
too.
want
That's
to
what I
see
mean.
Camille
You don't want
versus
to
Sheeta.
see.
That would be
That's what I'm saying.
legit.
You
Or
wouldn't want to see
Camille
that.
versus Ford.
Or like AK-47 taking on Nyla Rose, or Thunder Rosa against you name it. You know? That's what I'm saying. There's so many
That would be
possible
awesome.
matchups, and again, like I said about P&P, this is a win-win because it gets the NWA guys back out in the spotlight, doing something, making some money. It gets their name out there to a larger audience, and then AEW reaps the benefits because now they have a whole roster. And they don't really have to put anybody on the show. They can just sit back, do their dynamites, do their darks, let NWA handle it, maybe bring in a couple of people here and there to have matches like, you know, Camille and fucking Sheeta or whatever. And it's little to no work for them, but they reap the benefits because people are tuning in. It's a win-win for both companies, and the matchups are endless.
Yeah.
Like there are no.
Would we want to see this done? Would we want to see this done invasion angle style, or do we want to see it as
No
a
invasion.
friendly?
No
As
invasion.
a friendly, like Cody reaching out to
Because if
WP
we
being like, you know what, this sounds good to me, kind of
if
thing.
we learned
on a
if we learned anything from like WCW coming into WWE, or like the Alliance when ECW got bought out, those invasion angles are god awful. They're terrible. So just no, you know, it's like Billy has a handshake deal with Tony, and they come in and you know they have their battles, but it's more like brands at Survivor Series than it is the invasion angle. Because if you remember, like when NXT got into Survivor Series, that shit was hot. So you have that type of rivalry. You don't do the invasion thing. It's been done, and it's been horrible on repeated occasions.
Yeah.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again.
The problem with the invasion angle is that eventually, like, someone has to lose. Like,
Right.
they
Yeah.
can't both come out winners. either you're gonna get invaded and you fucking lost and now you got taken over, so you're ruthless, or you fended off the invaders and then now they're ruthless and they can no longer come to play. So I just have it be like a talent swap, but then a big fucking Cody and all this shaking hands and a big podium and flags behind them and eagles flying doves and shit. Make a big deal.
No, I hear you. And then we have I'm sorry, I laughed because as you started speaking, I saw the hobo clown say Marco Stunt versus Big Papa Pump.
Dude, fuck Big Papa Pump.
Yeah, but he would break Marco Stunt like worse than anyone has, like worse than Archer, worse than Wardlow. There would never be another Marco Stunt. Like no more rambling rabbit bullshit. You're just dead.
That's
I don't know how that kid keeps coming back.
That's one of those matches.
Sanda, what was his name? Aaron
Stevens.
Damon Sanda, yeah. Him and Marco Stunt. I can see that being a good comedy match. Like fucking karate poses and shit, and that'd be funny.
I would even love to see the rematch of like Aaron Stevens versus Colt Cabana. That would be dope because they had a great match.
The Dark Order Colt Cabana.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same Colt Cabana so far. Like. He even ran away when they were supposed to be doing their grown-up business last night. So it's pretty much the same Colt.
No, he didn't run away. He didn't run away.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brody told him to
Mr.
take
Brody
Anna.
Always shuffles him away, which seems kind of silly to me. Kind of like, no, sweet boy Colt, you don't need to see this. You don't need to see this.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
You know what? Chuck says.
Colt wearing the Anna Jay little glasses too, looking like Robin and shit. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I hate to bring this up, but Chuck says he misses Rusev, and I do too. But according to him, he's actually done with wrestling.
Tired.
And he said this on Rusev Day, no less. I was heartbroken. I'm sorry to bring that news to you.
Every day that ends in a Y, Rusev Day?
Yes, it actually is. And it will always be. Even our show is on Rusev Day. True story. And then Felipe says, do you think Billy Corgan would be willing to do business with AEW? If it gets them out there on a national stage and gets there and helps him to pay and keep his roster, absolutely. It's good business for Billy. This is not like him trying to partner up with Dixie Carter and getting screwed. This is him working with Tony Khan, who is obviously
on the way up.
And a new creative mind. Well, that too, but also a new creative mind in the wrestling industry, kind of like Billy is. So they kind of vibe, So I would not be surprised if they actually did business with one another because they're smart enough to know that like this will work out for both of us. This will make us both bigger. This will make us both more money. This will make our companies better in the long run. And then once things go back to normal, NWA can do whatever and they can have their show and maybe they still do some merged events throughout the year, but it will work out beautifully for both sides, and I think they could see that. So I think he would, Felipe, honestly.
Yeah. It's one of those.
I don't see Activision making like a Guitar Hero Smashing Pumpkins edition. So Billy Corgan's gonna need to get some kind of funds from somewhere.
Right.
It's almost one of those scenarios where Tony Khan and the boys kind of did Billy a solid by putting all this and the NWA title, on their shows. Yeah. Before Power came out,
and
when Billy, and they put hype behind the title and all this because
more recently,
they knew it was
more recently when Ricky Starks came in, they actually acknowledged him as the NWA television champion and gave them credit as he was coming in, and then he had that amazing match. So they tried to put the shine on NWA repeatedly. So it's not like they have it's not like they have bad blood or anything. They seem to work together when it's called for. And right now it seems that way. I know NWA was working with ROH, but ROH isn't doing anything either. So, maybe we start with NWA. Who knows? But at least it gets these guys out there and it gets them paid and it gets their roster a little bit more comfortable financially. It gets them some TV time and it gets people excited for when NWA can get their own thing up and running again, so that maybe they don't come back on YouTube. Maybe they do get a network deal. It's happened before. So it could happen again. I could definitely see it working out. But we're gonna. I'm glad we got that out of the way. I think it was worth talking about. I think everybody sounded kind of geniusy while we were doing it. At least I think. But and we're gonna move on to something that Evil Evan brought us earlier, which had to do with a certain WWE superstar who just, for unfortunate circumstances, is now out on his own. So I'm just kicking it to you, Evil homie. Go ahead and bring the question in.
Well, we see this past week on SmackDown, Kofi Kingston coming out of the trainer's office, letting us all know that apparently he is injured and he has to not have the New Day completely be on the bench. Pat, Biggie on the back, give him the baton and says, you know what, buddy, you're going to carry this. And now's your time, Big E, to fucking run with a singles push and make the New Day proud. And I couldn't be happier because I have been on the Big E bandwagon for a long time. I think this guy is hilarious. His Twitter game is on fire. He's just charismatic beyond. Honestly, I think being paired with the other two guys has held him back a little. So I think SmackDown needs a champion, and SmackDown needs someone to carry that brand. And I was wondering what you guys think. What do you guys think about Big E? Could now be his time?
You know what? To be honest,
Yes, he's overdue. He's most definitely overdue.
I've always kind of said
he could definitely carry it on his own.
I've always kind of looked at Big E the way I looked at Shelton Benjamin back in the day. Tremendous talent that they never seemed to find the right angle for, at least as a singles competitor. Big E has this great run with the New Day, and they're on the verge of like tying the Dudleys for most WWE tag title reigns. Shelton had the world's greatest tag team and that kind of stuff. But when they were out, when either one of them was out on their own, it didn't seem like WWE knew what to do with them. Oh, puppy. Sorry, distracted. And I really, I'm with Wendy. I think that it's kind of overdue because when Big E came in, he was kind of the heavy for Dolph Ziggler, but he was on his own, and he was definitely a lot younger, but he did his damage. He won a couple of titles. He looked good doing it. And you thought, man, the sky's the limit for this guy, kind of like Shelton Benjamin back in the day. And then all of a sudden, things changed and the New Day came in and he focused on that. And I get it. But I think he could do great as a singles competitor. Like, I practically want to see him in an Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam against AJ, like right off the bat. If Grand Metalik can get one, Big E damn sure deserves one. It was his first win on SmackDown ever, and he got an Intercontinental title match. Big E's had more than one win on SmackDown. He deserves it.
I don't know. I'd just like to see him go right after Braun, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Just
he's
already had the Intercontinental title. He's had the tag titles. It's to see those two big friggin' mooses go at it in the middle of a ring would actually
that would be great too.
A fucking amazing match.
Can we all agree? Yeah, mooses, meese. I don't know what the plural is, but can we all agree that Big E would have been better off winning Money in the Bank as opposed to Otis?
Absolutely.
Oh God, yeah. Freaking-lutely.
Okay, I was just checking. I thought so.
What would you rather watch? A 10-minute or 15-minute Braun Strowman promo touting him being the champ, or a 10-minute Big E promo with him, dancing around, busting the splits and pulling pancakes out of his fucking singlet? Like,
oh God, no junk cakes. Scratch the junk cakes and I'm all in. Because I gotta be honest,
hands down.
Like
Big E.
Like I gotta be honest, Big E is better on a mic.
Multiple segments of that guy, and I still am entertained. But
Big E is better but Big E is probably better on a mic than most of the New Day. They just don't give him that opportunity. He says his things. He does the introduction. Don't you dare be sour. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he cuts a damn good promo too. So I'd rather just see him in the ring cutting a promo after winning a title and skip all the junk cakes and crap. Like, stop pulling pancakes out of your singlet. That's just nasty. Like, nobody wants to touch that. Nobody wants to eat that, dude. Where was it? If I pulled something out of my crotch and threw it at one of you, are you going to catch it? I mean, come on.
There's all kinds of people out there. Someone out there is happy to eat it.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's got a junk cake fetish, but it's not me.
Well, not even a fetish. It's just.
I'm glad you eat pie out of all of your pants.
Yeah, I love Biggie, and the only reason I said the Intercontinental title is because AJ has it. Because I think a win against a guy like AJ Styles would just skyrocket his singles
No, man,
career.
just go first for the big one. Like, forget.
I'm with that too.
No. Just go straight to the big title. Screw all the little itty bitty pit stops here and there. Put him up for it. He deserves it. He'd be great. And Hobo Clown brought up a good point. Remember his NXT run.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Bojack is
that.
actually watching us, and he told me he'd eat the junk cake just to stay on the admin team. That's dedication right there, dude. We would never expect you to do that to stay on the team, but that's dedication. Thank you.
That's not true. I have expectations. I need a video of it.
Most of us don't have expectations. But yeah, I love the question. I think he's definitely overdue for a singles push. You know, I wouldn't honestly. I love Kofi Mania, but if it had been Big E in that position, I wouldn't have argued. I'd been like, good for him.
No.
He deserved it almost as much as Kofi, maybe more at that point, considering where he was. But Kofi had a great run. It was beautiful. But if it was Big E, same thing. I would have been just as happy. So yeah, bring on the Big E singles push, man. I'm all for it.
My hope is though, if and when they give him that push, they don't fuck him like they did Kofi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they didn't screw Kofi, they fucked him.
That's why I'm afraid they fucked him royally.
No,
but that's one of the reasons that I'm afraid for Drew right now. Because if you noticed, all of a sudden, I don't know if like Brother Love booked Kofi Mania or not, but all of a sudden they are rattling through Kofi's contenders. Like he just got done with Dolph, now he's moving on to Randy Orton, just like Kofi did. What happened after Randy Orton? Brock Lesnar beat Kofi in 8 seconds. So is this where we're now heading? Like he gets through Randy, and then all of a sudden Brock shows up, and this tremendous title run of Drew's ends like.
If that happens, I'm so done.
I would be so fucking mad.
If Brock flies to Florida,
Cancel my subscription.
Canada won't let him back.
I was gonna say what subscription, but that's me.
So hear me out on this whole Big E situation, because I'm kind of liking where we were headed with it.
No, go ahead, man.
So let's just say Big E wins the Universal title. He beats Braun, he wins the title, then Woods comes back. And then Kofi comes back, and the New Day's back together, and Kofi and Woods are like, oh, we're the champ, we're the 2-time world champs now, and Big E's kind of looking at him, and then all of a sudden he just turns on him one day and beats the shit out of him and said, no, this is my title, I did it without you, and walks away.
Wow. Talk about super.
Bro, I'd be crying like a motherfucker.
That right there,
but I love
that would be like MJF level heat. No lie.
Yes.
Dead ass.
Like,
he might take over like best heel in wrestling in that moment.
Like every unicorn would the horn would just fall off and die.
He just snaps it and like throws it at Kofi and Xavier while they're laid out and just walks off. Yeah, I mean that
shoves a junk cake in their mouth and flips them.
Ooh, I don't know that line. We almost crossed it there.
Too much.
But I like it. No, speaking of, and if we're have we wrapped up the Big E conversation? Is there anything more to add to this? Or, I don't want to jump the gun. I'm sorry. I felt like I was. Okay. Speaking, we're gonna get into something that Brucey loves. Speaking of MJF, if you watched Dynamite last night, I know most of you did. MJF cut a promo that was just mind-blowingly amazing. It's one of the reasons that I'm wearing the shirt today, because I'm on board with him. Like, hashtag not my champion. I love Moxley, but fuck you. Hashtag not my champion, because god damn. And there have been some good ones in AEW, but I'm going to put it to you guys like this, like we have done many a time before. And that would be Keep It or Kill It. MJF cut the best promo in AEW history last night.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
Bruce,
it's short, teeny, tiny history.
Yeah.
I'm conflicted.
They've had amazing
Pretty
segments.
conflicted, Brucey.
They've had
Hold up.
amazing matches. The promos, definitely.
Hold up. I'm amazed that everybody else is like, yep, and Brucey is conflicted. Please.
I am.
Elaborate, high class, because I thought you would be the first one to be like, yes, keep it, fuck it, yes, greatest ever, better than you, salt of the earth, not my champion, MJF
Tell us,
2020.
Brucey. Tell us.
I honestly, I think, I'd have to say Cody's very first promo on the very first episode of Dynamite. When he came out to the ring, the opening segment, and poured his heart and soul out to everyone about AEW opening their doors.
Because that one got me.
And
like,
then went on to wrestle Darby and have an amazing match.
See, I was waiting to see what
I
everybody...
see where you're coming from, because that one got me hyped, and I was like, yes,
I was
tears
gonna
and excitement and like joy in my heart, like I hadn't felt.
Exactly. I was waiting to see what everybody was going to say before I chimed in, and I'm amazed Brucey was the one that actually like balked at it. But he's absolutely right. It's one of the like it might be the second greatest, but that Cody promo on the debut of Dynamite was just so passionate and intense and got you feeling a certain way, like jumping out of your seat at his words. Where MJF's got me hyped and I loved it, and it was creative and it was great, and it was total heel and it was total him. But if I had to, I'd probably say kill it for that Cody promo. So is Brucey going far enough to kill it?
Yep.
Wow. History has been made.
Hashtag my champion wears Burberry.
Hashtag not my champion. You don't have the belt
3
yet.
hours, not 4.
Yeah, we got to get him to spell Burberry, but that's okay. That's another story. We'll get to back. And I think Wendy and Evan kept it, so I'm just going to give them a collective.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah.
That's hot.
I gotta get into
MJF
that.
kissing babies. He was kissing motherfucking babies. That's how you start the promo.
Right? I honestly though, like MJF, bravo, because I want you to be champion. I'd vote for you for president. I'll get you an Emmy nomination. Like after that promo, I'll do whatever the fuck you want me to do.
Yeah.
I was sold. I was all in.
He'll eat MJF tasty cake.
No, that's damn good. That's what I mean. It's tough to knock that promo. I'm not. I'm really not. I just thought Cody's original promo was a little bit better, but he killed it. I was loving it. I'm glad that I wasn't the only one. You know,
Britt Baker coming in at a close third. Any promo by Britt Baker, the close third.
I can't believe we're saying Britt Baker close third after all she's been through. Like after the Jericho cruise. I mean, and she
that was the best one. Is Jericho cruise.
I thought it was after the Jericho cruise.
No, her best one was the first one on the Jericho cruise where she went on for like 30 minutes and was supposed to talk for 2.
Don't exaggerate. It was like 25 minutes.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, God. Son of El bitch. Yeah, way to speak Spanish there, Sammy. Let's see. Brian said, MJF is one of the few true fucking heels in wrestling. His promo was absolute gold. Amen?
Yeah.
Felipe
kayfabes it so hard. He flips off kids.
That's so awesome.
Felipe says, that is the Cody I miss in AEW now. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's one of the reasons I want them to mix things up so that he can cut those amazingly passionate promos and talk about his history and, that type of stuff, because he does it so well. So you're kind of hindering him by just putting him in these open challenges where he can't just, where he can't just really talk about somebody or cut those kind of promos anymore. So I'm with you. I get it. And was there a bigger, fucking Ouchtown Population U moment than, poor Ricky Starks last night when Darby came off the top with the tack-covered skateboard?
Serious pain. Like he looked like he was in real pain, not like the kayfabe pain.
I'm in pain.
Yeah,
I'm in pain thinking about it.
I can see them backstage planning it all out. Like, dude, you table, I'll jump and I'll fucking land on you, and it's gonna be amazing. What they do is that Yeah, I'm gonna fucking smash you. What you realize is that any slight angle is gonna cause you to fucking rake his
Slide.
It wasn't just like a little back spot. He had like Freddy
back.
Krueger motherfucking slices.
I can feel it.
Ouch. Yeah.
I can feel
You
it.
know-
Get him out. Get him out.
He just trying to carry him out. Like, come on, bro, you okay? He's like, no, bro.
I mean, I'm not saying I ever had the skateboard before,
Yeah.
but I have experienced the thumbtacks before, and I can feel them right now. I'm just like, son of a bitch,
Bro, like
mommy.
I freaking love that kind of stuff, right? Like, oh my god, for it for the hardcore, the extreme, the blood, bring out the tacks. On my, I have tacks from a hardcore match they had at Nova Pro. I live for this shit. And I was like, oh, not my pretty Ricky, not my
Not
pretty
Ricky.
Ricky. Oh,
No, not Ricky.
no,
Oh,
Grandma's like,
Ricky.
no.
It
That hurt my
felt
heart.
like, if you've seen the movie, it felt like the end of Boys in the Hood, where it was just screaming Ricky as he was dying.
Yeah.
That's
Like
pretty much
it
what
was that bad. It was terrible. I was just, I seriously could fucking feel it. I was like, oh.
Yeah. See,
My wife thought I was hurt. She's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, look." And she looked, and then as soon as she saw it, she was like, "Oh."
See, when I saw him bring out the skateboard, I think back to like every skateboard hooligan movie. You know, you cross the guy with
Yeah.
He was gonna maybe knock his back and jumping up. Sorry, Alan.
And by the way-
you're smoking, homie, because that was insanity. Whoever came
By
up
the
with
way,
that-
Insane.
as Evil Evan and I, brilliantly pointed out before, we're glad to see that at least AEW has a thumbtack budget, because if you saw Slammiversary when Moose whipped out the tacks, there were like 6 in a bag.
Yeah.
No lie. He grabbed the bag, he poured them out, and it was like ding 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 ding. With like 6 tacks. There were about 297 thumbtacks on the bottom of a skateboard. Like they were gluing everywhere they could get. Just here.
And I would like to think that
And 187 of them were in Ricky's back.
Gluing them down. I want to picture like him and Priscilla Kelly with a hot glue gun, just like fucking, here you go, babe. Watching like Mama's Burgers or some shit, like that. That would have been hilarious.
They're probably all the ones that they dug out of Cody's back from the week before.
Yeah, Peter, we're still live. Okay, hi, Peter. Speaking of Impact, has everybody here seen at least Wrestle House by now?
No.
Yes. I was watching it today while working.
Okay, 3 out of 4 of us, right?
It just gave me like the biggest eye roll right now for it. Just like,
All right, we're gonna start with the first lady, Grandma Wendy. Your impression of Wrestle House. Go.
I actually did not enjoy it.
Really?
I thought I would. I don't know why. I was like, oh, this might be funny. Let's give it a chance. But I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
I gotta be honest. I thought it was fucking dope. It was funny as hell. Like the whole snoring thing with the Deaners in the bedroom, where the one in the bed is snoring and the cousin is on the floor, and he wakes himself up and he blames the dude for snoring. So now they got to have a match to see who gets the bedroom. And Tommy Dreamer is just randomly under the covers next to him in a suit jacket. I didn't know what that was about, but it was funny as hell.
I thought it was just okay. It wasn't the funniest.
Okay.
So this is
effort. They tried. It was different. It was as opposed to Monday Night Raw, which is just filling us up with recaps and reshots. And last week this happened, and 2 weeks ago, like they're at least giving us something different, a little.
Hey, the show is dying. More ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully the jokes pick up. Hopefully they can find their group. Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I mean, I'll give it another shot, but
yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's kind of like that Legends House from WWE Network back in the day, but, with current wrestlers and just little short skits.
Honestly, though, if given the choice between Wrestle House and Raw, I'm going to watch Wrestle House.
Yeah.
At least
Exactly
I
the point. I swear, there were more matches in like half an hour of Impact than there was in like 90 minutes of Raw. It was insane.
Seriously.
Oh, and we had our boy Heath trick Moose into a TNA title match, saying that he went to the TNA Championship Committee, got a contract and a match. And Moose was trying to say, no, that doesn't exist. He's like, oh, so you don't have a real title? There's no TNA whatsoever? Is that what you're saying? Oh, no. It's real. I'll see you next week. So once again, we got
that
Heath
was
in
really
it.
sneaky. It was kind of
So
funny.
now we have Heath at a point where if he wins this match, he becomes a champion and gets a contract.
And gets a contract. Fingers crossed for Heath. Come on.
Why does someone
Yeah,
of his
kids.
talent always have it seems to be like it's like he's going down the same path he did in WWE
Well,
with Impact.
Because in short,
No, him and Rhino had to wrestle tag team all the
No,
way
that's
to
me.
the
In
title.
short,
so that he was
this
gonna
is
lose his
exact-
job. Like
this
he's
is
doing
exactly-
the same thing over again.
Heath had to fight somebody to begin with to get into SmackDown and get a contract, and won, and then ended up with Rhino, and then went after the tag titles. So they're basically going over the story with a little bit of a twist, kind of like putting Moose into it and trying to get him, calling him out, trying to get him to say my title is bullshit, but he won't do it. So instead he goes ahead with the title match, and management, Scott D'Amore, was so impressed by the way he conned Moose into a match. He said, if you win, not only are you the TNA champion, but you'll get an Impact contract. So I was like, this is a new spin on an old take, so bravo. I like it. I hope he wins. I really do. He would fulfill my prophecy from Slammiversary a few weeks late.
Brucey, do you feel like he's being stereotyped into this position?
I do, actually. It's almost like the only twist to this is the TNA title that holds no weight at all in anything. It's honestly a make-believe title.
But you know what?
Don't tell Moose that.
Although it might be like a bit of a recycled storyline, he's coming in at that level where he kind of deserves to be. Because if he were to be that fifth guy and be like mystery opponent, smoking pyro and outcomes, Heath to join the main event title match, and he were to pin Eddie Edwards, and he were to walk off as the Impact Grand Champ at Slammiversary, people would shit on it. They would say, who is this guy who just walked into the company? He hasn't deserved it. Because that's what happened with Eric Young. Eric Young went from a position of being sort of a joke when he last left, and NXT kind of being wasted as a joke. And as he came into the match, everyone was like, this is the surprise. This guy just did. He wasn't at that same caliber yet. And I get that Heath Slater or Heath Miller, whatever his name is, he's a talented motherfucker. And he's going to get there soon. But you can't just walk into the dance and right away be expected to be crowned prom king. Let him get a few partners before he works his way up there. I think it's cool. I think let him work in there with Moose and eventually give him the fake belt. And then, yeah, he can say, I want the real belt.
Even I said I wanted to see him come in and win the Impact title, but I knew I was kind of in the minority in that group. I knew people would shit on it if it did, but I didn't really care. I just wanted him to win the title, make me happy, let the world burn. But I knew if it happened, the reaction that would come from that, because you get a guy who had basically, done little to nothing in WWE, come in and become Impact champion. It looks bad. Even if it's Eric Young winning it, it's still Eric Young. And look at everything he did in TNA, and look at how hot he was in NXT. So he's a proven commodity. Heath, on the other hand, is not. So you do make a great point that if he comes into this level and he wins the TNA title, maybe it legitimizes it, maybe it legitimizes him, and maybe it leads to, something bigger and better down the line. It would definitely be better than most of what they stuck him in WWE. So good luck, Heath. That's all I'm saying. I hope he fucking wins. I want to see him get a contract. I know he probably already has one, but he's going to get a contract if he wins.
He's going to win by disqualification. EC3 is going to come out and jump him, and then then after the match is over, he's going to beat the shit out of Moose.
Oh, you mean like he already did?
Yeah,
it was great.
The way they're setting it up is they're setting it up for EC3 to take the TNA title. They're not gonna let Heath take it, and this is the only way for him to A, get his contract because he wins the match, and B, not take the TNA title so EC3 can take it.
Yeah, even Mac was saying that Heath needs to prove himself, and that's basically what Evan and I were saying. Felipe says, I agree with Bruce.
Heath wins it and then EC3 goes after Heath? And they feud.
Ooh, that would be good too. But
Like that.
Felipe had said, I agree with Bruce. Why they have this underdog, this thing kind of underdog story with Heath is weird. It's just it's really his gimmick, to be honest. Like, I know they could change it, but it's what he's famous for, after all these years. So
It is what you're famous for, but it didn't get you nowhere. So this is his chance to reinvent himself.
what they're trying to do is go off of what he's known for and tweak it and do something better with it. And I'm okay with that. I really am. Especially if he wins. If he loses, I'm going to be pissed. But if he wins, okay, cool. PETA actually brought up a good question leading us into NXT, which is, do you guys think Karrion Kross is ready for a title match against Keith Lee?
Yes.
I gotta say, I think he is, and I definitely think Keith Lee has had a fire lit under his ass by Karrion Kross. It's not that Keith isn't intense, but he's a pretty calm, pretty smooth guy. But then after that Rocky IV ending last week on NXT, where he watched, Dijakovic get laid out, he came out like a house of fucking fire. I mean, he cussed and everything. It was insane. I was like, they're not going to allow this, and they didn't. But the fact that he was just out there like cussing and screaming and snarling, and then Cameron Grimes came out, and that was the worst idea ever.
All right, so Kross comes out and tells Keith Lee, we can do this the easy way, and you give me the title match, and we'll fight like men, or we'll do this the hard way. And you don't want to know what the hard way is. Later in the night, Regal tells us, you know what? No, I'm not going to grant that match. Pretty much, bitch, earn it, he told Kross. Okay? So that easy way has been taken off the table. What do you think the hard way is going to be? What do you think Kross has up his sleeve that's going to get Regal to say, this motherfucker deserves the match? What do you guys think? What kind of diabolical
compared to what he's done already? I don't know. Have Scarlett? He's gonna have Scarlett jump. He's gonna have Scarlett jump Mia Yim and beat the living shit out of her.
I was thinking. Do you think we see Kross maybe fucking put a hands on, not necessarily hurt her, but threaten to have her backstage with hands, or cutting his little black and white scary vignette, her tied up, hanging.
Yeah. Or you're gonna see that like NXT parking lot scenario where like Mia Yim is coming in, and then from behind Scarlett comes up and just like cracks her in the back of the head with an hourglass. Drops her.
Or go like total Batman villain, have her like trapped inside a giant hourglass, like Sam on her, or that's too far maybe. I don't know. It's something crazy.
Too far maybe.
Too far maybe. Maybe.
But Regal adamantly said, no, you don't get the shot, where we know damn well he's going to get the shot at TakeOver. So I want to know, I'm curious to see what kind of
I'm more curious.
He's going to pull.
I'm more curious to see what Regal puts together to get Kross to earn this title shot, like he was saying. Like, does he put together a gauntlet match where Kross just keeps choking people out? Does he put him up against Cameron Grimes because he was talking shit? Does he put him in the ring with Adam Cole?
Murder him.
And winner goes to TakeOver 30? Like, what is it going to take for Kross to actually earn that title shot against Keith Lee that he hasn't done already? Because everybody he's faced, he's fucking destroyed. It hasn't even been close.
What if we get Regal like on his little Zoom, box, whatever, and then all of a sudden it turns black and white and fucking Kross comes up from behind and like is there? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of fucking something creative.
I'm trying to come up with something, dude. I know you got my creative juices flowing now. I'm trying to roll with it.
I just think the sky's the limit with this character. They've totally gone horror movie with smoke and this guy's magical powers we don't even know.
It's
leather suit and like.
It's honestly it's a situation where you don't know exactly what Kross is going to do, but he's practically capable of anything. Because even going in when he debuted, you thought, oh, well, there's no way he's going to trash, Ciampa. And he fucking trashed Ciampa. And then you were like, okay, well, Dijakovic's a big dude. He's going to give him a fight. He barely gave him a fight, and he got killed. It's like you always think, like, oh, well this is going to be the moment, or he's not going to be able to, and then he just does it. Like, there are no limits with Karrion Kross. They are practically turning him into NXT's version of The Undertaker. It is fucking spooky. And you know, to again, like you said, to see like maybe has some other powers, maybe pulls some crazy like macabre shit with Keith Lee involved, or you know, Mia gets jumped, or all of the above. Like I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm actually interested in seeing it, which is something I can't say a lot when it comes to WWE TV, including.
I'll admit, having Adam Cole headline every takeover got tiresome. It got boring.
It did.
So I'm excited to see Keith Lee and see what they got going with this next fucking Triple X 30 takeover.
Triple X. He loves bringing that up. Brought to you by Brazzer. Yeah. Let's see. PETA had said, I think depending on the storyline, but Keith Lee should destroy Cross. Dude, would Keith Lee destroying Cross really get us anywhere as far as NXT or the title? Or like, I can understand Cross, you know, losing, but getting destroyed, like that would just like take all that momentum and just toilet.
I would love to see them take a page from AEW, and then I know they never really do it, but have these guys go to like a 20-minute time limit draw or some shit where like they just neither big guy could go down, and you had to really, we're out of time, the pay-per-view has to end. And
I mean, if we're gonna be real, it would be the first. It would be the first time that something was taken from AEW. So it could happen. I could see it. You know, or some kind of crazy shit like think about like Dijakovic and Lee the first time. They had this crazy war. They did all these amazing things, but the damn thing ended in a double count out.
Yeah.
And it made people want to see it again. If you did something along those lines with Cross and Lee, I don't think it would make people mad. It would just make people want to see it happen again like it did back then. So I could see that.
I could see them some kind of like ring fucking explosion, big show style, something to end. And like, oh my God, these two big men, what do we do? Tune in next week, and there's no winner.
Right.
Just to not, because like they're both on like an uphill, like fucking the momentum, like they're like strap the rocket to them both. And I just see it hard, you know, who loses.
And I know, and you know, just changing gears a little bit. I know it's kind of hard to notice because who really pays attention. But last few weeks, there has been no Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai anymore.
Yeah.
Even Dakota Kai said she's going to stand on her own. And when they had that tag match, Candice LeRae came out to help Dakota Kai, and then it ended up being Io and Tegan versus LeRae and Dakota Kai. Did we just like lose Rochelle Gonzalez completely? Like, did she get buried and we didn't notice? Like, I know we were talking about how she's damn near 6 feet tall and she's brutal and she's like a Latina China practically, but like, are we just losing her from TV now? We got Mercedes Martinez. There's only so many women we can put in from this group, so we'll take one off.
Just gonna throw this out there. We heard reports. Multiple people tested positive, and now we're seeing people just disappearing off of TV with no explanation. I'm not trying to say that she's positive. I don't want to start no rumors. But look at Seth Rollins. Where's Austin Theory? No explanation, just off of TV. 12 names tested positive, and all of a sudden just boom, gone, boom, gone, boom, gone, boom, gone. Distant memory.
Yeah,
I don't know. Could be. I don't know. Maybe in 2 weeks she comes back, and then.
I don't know what was more confusing: Candice LeRae coming to help Dakota Kai with that whole match, or fans or whatever you want to call them in the crowd chanting USA during the title match between Imperium and Everrise.
Yeah.
None of which are from the USA, by the way. None of them. You got two guys from Canada. You got an Italian guy and you got a German guy.
And the sad thing is that this wasn't just like some uneducated, you know, crowd from like fucking San Jose or some random city. These are like the NXT students. These are like the guys.
The trainees.
Fucking classroom with them, and they're like oblivious to anything. And they're like, fucking blind patriotism, USA.
I mean, the closest thing to an American in the ring was Eichner because he's from here, but his family's from Italy. So
maybe, I don't know.
Maybe they were chanting for Eichner. I don't know. Maybe they were chanting for Imperium.
Where, like, you get the people hyped and you get them to chant something, anything. Just get that one person to chant it. It just infects everybody. No one cares why we're chanting it.
Right.
Ever, and it's just like chant, 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 chant.
Right. You know what it reminded me of though?
Mob
Remember
mentality.
You remember that? You remember that challenge WWF, I believe, had back in the day, the Power Slam challenge with Yokozuna?
Oh yeah.
And Bret Hart came and attempted it. He was going to try to slam Yokozuna, and the crowd getting behind Bret started chanting USA.
USA. Yeah.
From
Like Americans, we kind of
Calgary,
lose ourselves.
Alberta, Canada, USA.
Yeah.
Such an infection.
You're not from our country, so we need to chant our country despite nobody being from our country.
Could they have switched it up a little bit? Just close to USA, close to you.
No. You know what it is? We just discussed it here real quick, Jose and I. What it is the infectiousness of USA. Try chanting any other country. Give it a try. You can't. You get started chanting USA, you get hyped and all that.
Mexico.
It's not the
No,
same.
it's not.
Jamaica.
There's some about chanting USA. 3 simple letters. It just really gets going.
USSR. Wait,
Yeah.
that's not a thing anymore.
That doesn't work.
My
Too many
bad.
letters.
My bad.
Too many syllables. It's just chanting USA is infectious. Look. You're in a crowd of people, randomly start chanting it, and just watch. It'll pick up, and people just start fucking hysterical.
I mean, it's no wonder that Hacksaw Jim Duggan had like a 30-year career, because just USA and everybody.
It's like Jose said. It's like Jose just said. Go somewhere and just scream out, "The stars at night." Give it a moment.
You know what?
We'll have a text and scream back at you. Are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas. We can't help ourselves. We cannot help ourselves.
My son will come over and he'll just randomly start. He'll be like, "Hey, Dad, somebody," and of course the whole house will start yelling, "Once told me the word." You can't. It's
Same exact thing.
I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Over here, you start somebody. Come get her, dancing like a stripper.
Oh God, yeah, I love that song.
With her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her
Somebody
forehead.
come get her. She's drinking all the liquor.
Yeah, it's infectious.
Oh,
Hey, but you know
good
what? Shout out to that NXT crowd or whoever it is, the heckler. When Scarlett came out, he was like, "We hate you, Scarlett." And then when Drew came out, he's like, and he took a stipulation. He's like, "An eye for an eye." Like there's someone in the crowd who's just yelling the funniest shit at the.
So in other words, there's somebody in the crowd that's going to get fired.
Yeah, I want to think it's like fucking what's that guy's name? Bugenhauser or whatever, or someone in the NXT class is on TV who's just yelling hilarious shit at the inappropriate times. It's great.
And we have PETA saying, "Please don't sing."
Oh, it's gonna happen, Peter.
Oh, come on. We gotta be better than Sammy Guevara. Gotta be better than Sammy.
Yeah. We're gonna start doing the WWF Attitude Volume 4 sung by us.
Yes.
First thing on Patreon. That's what it's gonna be.
I got dibs on Shawn Michaels' Sexy Boy. Yeah.
Sean. I'll sing background for you.
I
got you.
I'm not your boy toy.
Boy toy.
They say They say I got the tools. She's right.
Peter comes back and says, "No, Sammy's better. Can't beat Judas."
Agreed.
Wait.
And Max says, "Well, if you're comparing yourself to Sammy, the bar is pretty low."
It's true.
I love doing this.
You have
live.
low standards
I
here.
I really do. Shout out
Top
to the
Rope
live
Wrestling
audience.
Talk, where our standards are low.
Very.
Yes.
The bar is here. You can't even see it. It's not on screen.
There's
here.
a bar.
I know. We could just even you could step right over it with your little legs.
You know what?
It's so low.
Speaking of bar, did anybody catch that bar fight? The Sheamus, the
No.
Jeff Hardy one? Apparently, when
Not all.
Jeff Hardy, he had Jay. Quick recap: they fight, bullshit ensues. He's about to beat Jeff Hardy. He has Jeff Hardy beat. He puts his fedora on Jeff Hardy's face as an insult. Jeff Hardy removes the fedora, has like the white eye contact, and like the
Yeah,
face
he's got
is like
the-
all of a sudden, it's like re-energized the power of the paint. He's like the demon. He's fucking.
I don't know what that was. That was like some Brother Nero Willow type shit.
Yeah, yeah. So apparently that paint is like makes Jeff like impervious to pain,
Like,
and like he beats.
Seriously,
he beats the
Impact is
fucking
suing
out of
tomorrow.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Hold on.
Huh.
Threw him into the
What?
urinal. Yeah.
Whose gimmick does that sound like in WWE that no longer uses it, but also has paint? Can we say Finn Balor with the demon?
Demon King.
When he put the paint on,
Even Morgan would agree.
He was in impervious. Basically, this everything you said. He went to a whole different level. So now they're
Jeff
Finn.
Hardy.
You can't be the demon no more. Hey Jeff. Hey, we've got this idea for you.
We've got this great
when
idea.
you put your face paint on,
Never been
you
done.
become better.
Yeah.
Didn't that used to be a thing where he'd come out and splash the glow paint on himself so he would be like fearless?
That was in TNA.
I thought it was in WWE too.
End of WWE. And
Yeah,
most
beginning of TNA. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about the time when he would do? Like,
at least they proved they can put cinematic matches on TV. I don't know what else to say.
When Jeff Hardy would like cut a promo without his mouth moving, but we'd be hearing his like inner thoughts. That one was another bizarre fucking take on Jeff Hardy. He was like fucking Professor X, like
Yeah, even Hobo Clown said Jeff won as Willow and Impact is suing. And this time they just might win. But yeah, it was a thing. I don't know if it was good. It certainly seemed bad, but it was a thing. That whole storyline, bar fight, everything just had me like turned off from the jump.
Yeah. Everybody just said, "Oh, don't worry, just let it play out. You know, let's see where it goes."
I let it. I saw it. I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it from the beginning. I hated it at the end. End of story.
Yep.
Like it was terrible. I mean, you know, it didn't feel like everybody would say, "Oh, well, maybe Jeff okayed it," and it's like, do you really think that the powers that be give a shit whether or not you okay it?
Yeah.
Like really, do you think they care? They do whatever they want. They don't give a shit if you're on board or not because you're under contract. That's all they care about. Ask Moxley, ask Matt Hardy, ask all the guys that left already. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit if you like it. Get out there and do it.
Other than the fact that like it was set within a bar, it hadn't like the final like finality of the match. There was no payoff to alcohol. There was no like trying to force him to drink, and he said, "No, my demons," and he like, "No, alcohol played nothing into the final match. You could have had this be backstage with a ladder and random props."
Yeah.
Alcohol had nothing to do with. There was no like, I'm gonna fucking break the beer bottle as a symbol of me shattering my shackles of alcohol.
Breaking through to my new life or celebrating my growth.
I'm on the 12th step of recovery, and here comes me fucking nothing.
I know he said it. I know he brought it up a couple of times. I never actually saw it play itself out. I just saw him kind of become Willow and end the match. And again, like I waited for it to play out. I haven't really said much about the whole thing since it began. It is now over, and I still fucking hate it. I'm pretty sure Jeff Hardy hated it. He's probably not going to say it until after he leaves WWE, but I'm sure he probably fucking hated it too.
And I want to know what happened to Elias. Someone ran his ass over, and we're just like forgot all about it.
Right? Like, did anybody here enjoy that whole like 3-month storyline with Jeff and his demons?
They ruined Elias.
Yeah, pretty much. Haven't seen him since that accident.
Yeah.
That dude was like on he's one of those guys that was on such a huge hot streak when he first came up to the main roster, and like he actually like I would watch and be like, dude, he's actually got a chance to be somebody, and he's gonna make it. And then all of a sudden
he had the crowd like eating out of his hands.
Yeah. Every week, Brucey and I were like, we're walking with Elias. He stands for it. And then he just...
it's like gone into obscurity.
Right? Your 15 minutes are up. Go that way.
Yeah.
I don't get it. He was so insanely hot, and then even as he came back and he kind of like turned face again, and he was making fun of Baron Corbin and stuff. I was into it, and then the car accident happened, and then he disappeared, and it was like, oh, okay, bye, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, oh, whatever. I don't know. At one point, he was standing up for Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure why, other than to fight Baron Corbin. I don't know. Just a lot of crap storylines, a lot of back and forth. You're a face, you're a heel. You're a face, you're a heel. Like, never figured it out with him, honestly.
Oh, he had it figured out. The fans.
Oh no,
had
he
it
did.
figured out.
WWE did not. That's the point. Like, I'm sure he did, but WWE
The
didn't.
problem is when you're such good of a heel and you're shitting on the crowd, like they wanted the local town was waiting, like, shit on us, our football team sucks too. We have shitty governors, like,
Yeah.
we're trash. And WWE right away wants to market that shit and make money off of it and turn his face. And then when he's a face trying to make funny jokes, it's not the same. Like, I want the shit talk. I don't want clever puns, you know. And just they can't let a heel just be a heel, and that's where MJF has succeeded. He talks his shit, fans want to see it, and the management says, yeah, go talk more shit. They're not gonna try to turn him face and market him with T-shirts and shit. And that's what WWE did, and that's when they ruined Elias. They had him just be like a joke catchphrase coming out singing, "Welcome to fucking whatever insert city," boom, strum, and cheap pop. Like,
Okay, yeah, that's true. And I guess it's a good point from the Hobo Clown. He says Elias's gimmick doesn't really work without a crowd.
yeah.
Okay, that makes, yeah, I'll give you that much. That makes total sense to me, because he
They
definitely,
kind of have a crowd now. I mean, it could.
yeah. Well, this will be, they can't really have a crowd, and he played to the crowd a lot, and yeah.
Well,
I guess,
now they have something of an audience, so we could he?
well, I guess
Yeah.
they have trainees, so we could, but I don't know. I mean, that makes
I would like
sense.
to see him maybe even cut his chops on commentary for a little. Throw him out there, at least get his fucking voice and his face
Yeah.
on TV for a little. See what he can do.
More of him and less Byron Saxton. I'd be happy.
Yes.
I think we all would, to be honest.
Poor Byron. For this
Put on
and,
NXT for a
tie
while, even
combos.
if that's what you need, you know? We've seen a lot of people going to NXT and get a little sampling at the commentary booth.
And so I guess the last thing I had, because I know Keith Lee gave up the North American title. He wanted people to have an opportunity. Well, so far, the people that have an opportunity in this ladder match are none other than Bronson Reed and Dexter Lumis. Are you guys, like, just hearing that, are you excited that NXT is like putting the new blood in this ladder match, or are you thinking like, hey, what happened to, what happened to Finn Balor? What about, like even Thatcher lost? Like what are we doing here?
Well, is it only those two, or is there going to be
So
a
far,
multi-man
there's
ladder
going to be
match?
it's going to be a 5-way ladder
Right?
match, but the only
Yeah.
the only two that have qualified, Dexter Lumis won a triple threat against Finn Balor and Timothy Thatcher. Bronson Reed won a triple threat against Roddy and Johnny Gargano. So they're the two that have qualified so far. And then I'm trying to remember next week's triple threat. It's like Oney Lorcan, Damian Priest, and that Ridgeway guy.
Ridge Holland.
Ridge Holland, thank you.
It's going to be Damian Priest that's going to win that match.
I think they're going to give it to that rugby guy.
That's what I was going to say, because they've been kind of giving it to the dark horse in these matches.
He was like a legit rugby star over there, and they think they pretty much gave him a big contract. And with the NXT pretty much being just fucking crumbling to some kind of sexual predator territory, and everyone's gone other than Pete Dunne and maybe fucking Piper Niven. I don't even know who's over there anymore.
Right, they can't get Walter over, so.
Yeah, I think they realized that they spent a lot of money on this guy, and they got to make do with him, and they finally got him.
They got to do something.
They couldn't get Walter to come across, so they got this guy, and he's gonna. I think he wins. I think Cameron Grimes and Priest guy still got something. They got beef still. Maybe he cost them the match.
All right, Mac, I'm with you. He says I'm cool with like giving new guys a shot at this title, and yeah, definitely. It's just I'm hoping, obviously they've got more spots open. I'm hoping as this goes on, maybe some of the people who lost in the triple threats will get into some other kind of match, like a last chance kind of thing to pull like the final spot. So you do have like at least a big name or two. But I do like the idea of giving guys like Bronson Reed or Dexter Loomis opportunities because they've been around for a while. They've done a few things here and there, but they haven't really broken through or even gotten a title opportunity. I mean, Bronson Reed's biggest win of his NXT career was in that triple threat. So it's cool to see him move along. Loomis has obviously been a bigger part of NXT lately with all the Roddy stuff and helping out Velveteen Dream and that kind of thing. So to see him get an opportunity is pretty cool. I'm just interested to see if they just put in all these new faces or if they decide to pepper in names we know here and there. Like, at least out of the 5, have 1 or 2 that are like, oh, you know, Finn Balor, he got in last minute, or Gargano or Thatcher or somebody, you know. I even thought, like, Thatcher's a new name. He's been hot. Like, he'll probably win. Nope.
His style doesn't really take to a ladder match, though. He's more, you know, he's not.
I
so
agree,
flashy.
but at the same time,
I don't doing some crazy shit, or even the thick boy Bronson Reed. You know,
that's what I was about to say. Does Bronson Reed's style really work with a ladder match? He's kind of a big dude, you know.
He's there for that spot where the ladder's like this, and then he jumps and the ladder cracks in half. That's his spot.
Yeah.
He's gonna pull like the Otis.
Yeah.
The Otis at Money in the Bank. He steps on the ladder breaks. Maybe somebody will knock the title down and he'll catch it. You know, that kind of thing. You know, they just have that replay. But
the brutality to be a human wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Damian Priest was in the Survivor Series last year. Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, he hasn't done much since, or even in Survivor Series. He had a damn good rivalry with Cameron Grimes for a couple of weeks. That's his big claim to fame so far.
No.
I just don't get what I don't get what he's supposed to be, like a flaming archer guy, like a
he's like
owner.
First he's a club hopper, then he's like this archer guy. Now they're trying to make him out like he's this badass again, which he was to begin with. So now we've kind of come full circle, but you don't know how.
They don't know what to do with him.
Absolutely.
And that's why I feel what's his name? Dijakovic is in that same boat where it's like he's big, so he should be scary and intimidating. But he's such a nice guy, so he should be a face and sympathetic. But he's big, so he needs to beat people up, but like put him in peril. And it's like
I think it
just gets lost in the shuffle. We don't really know what to do with
I
these
think
guys.
with a lot of these guys, it comes back to what Evan and I were talking about last week. Was like they have all these guys, and they're too worried about who's going to lose. They're not worried about who's going to win or who's going to get set up for the next title opportunity or whatever. They're more worried about having these people lose. Because now all of a sudden you have all these egos and all these talents, and you don't want to bruise anybody. You don't want to hurt everybody's feelings. But this isn't exactly like Pee Wee football where everybody walks away with a trophy. Eventually, somebody's going to have to take an L so they can set up somebody else to go for the title shot while that guy builds back into the picture. Because that's the way every wrestling show has worked since wrestling? I don't even know, like since it began. But NXT tries to reinvent the wheel. They try to worry about like, oh, what if this guy loses? What if that? Who gives a shit? Do you have rankings like AEW does? No? Then who gives a shit? Pick who you want, push them, build the next guy, you know, create a system instead of just worrying about, well, what if so-and-so loses? Who cares? Honestly, who cares? Like, they lost, big deal. They'll come back. They'll work their way back to the top. They'll get in the title picture again. No big deal. It's not that bad. And a hush falls over the crowd.
No, but it's almost like what Wendy was saying earlier about the Cody Rhodes. Like, we want a feud. We want something to feel invested about. And with NXT, it's kind of like you're giving us these big three-ways and these big ladder matches, but there's no
multiple man things, you know, all this stuff.
Yeah, there's no like feud between two people where I feel an intense rivalry and I want to pick up one side over the other. I'm kind of just cheering along because they're all good matches and whoever wins wins and yay! Like
the action itself is pretty good. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like I do want these rivalries. That's why I'm looking forward to Cross and Lee. Like this is the closest thing to something they've been building for a while. It's two big hybrid crazy fucking talents that I want to see go head to head. And it's a one-on-one confrontation with all this like heat behind it. I'm looking forward to that. But outside of that, in NXT, you look around, you're like, I don't know. Even when they started with this whole Dakota Kai thing with Io Shirai, now all of a sudden Rhea's in the picture. You know, they can't figure out who they want to put in the ring with their champion. They just can't. So they're like, okay, multiple person, 5-way ladder matches, 6-pack elimination matches. Just pick someone. Just pick them. There's going to be another week. There's going to be another takeover. There's going to be another whatever the fuck. Just pick somebody.
Yeah, they do. They're definitely burning the multi-man match way too much.
Oh, yeah. We've been saying that since, like, TakeOver in Your House, you know, at least. So, you know, it just gets to the point where it's like, all right, you know, I don't know, trips, whatever, make a decision. Who do you want to fight Io? You know, who's getting in this North American title match? Do we really need another ladder match? We crowned the first champion like this. We got to do it again? Like, you know, build up a couple of people like you did with the Cruiserweight tournament. That was great shit. Just, you know, and it wasn't just all about Drake's video, although that had a lot to do with it. The action was good. The matchups were good. The drama at the end was good. The swerve was good. The whole nine. You could do that in other places. You just don't. And on that note, as a look, I think we can pretty much wrap things up here. So let's
on a positive note, we are going to be getting a Orange Cassidy Chris Jericho debate next week with a special guest moderator. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that one.
I know. I'm just waiting to see if we're actually going to see or hear Orange Cassidy speak on Dynamite, because I've already heard him speak on YouTube, not Dynamite, obviously. So are they going to finally?
Conflicted on this.
Really?
I'm kind of hoping it doesn't get stupid, like fucking, what was it, karaoke on SmackDown?
Oh God, no! Please, no, don't go there.
I hope it doesn't get stupid like that. I'm not. I don't know why I'm just like not processing what the point is. But
no,
we'll see.
We don't need that. See. We don't need that ever. We didn't need that then. On SmackDown. We don't need it on Dynamite with Cassidy and Jericho. I could just see it like Jericho's throwing all these barbs and insults and being like super heel, and Cassidy's just standing there like. That's the whole debate.
But you know what? Going into it, no open heart, open mind. We'll see what happens.
Right.
I think it all depends on who the like fucking the arbitrator, who the special guest is going to be. That could really play into whether it's going to be really comedy or if we're going to go a little more serious with it.
True. Yeah, but you know, now that's out of the way, I want to thank everybody that showed up, and I do want to announce that next week we will be back live with a special guest that Brucey and I know pretty well, and so he's a tremendous dude, tremendous wrestler. He's got a tremendous story, and that's Shooter Storm. I love this guy. We got to interview him a couple of years ago. We got to get involved with it. We got to know him. We really love him. We think you guys are going to love him too. So we will have Shooter next week with the 4 Horsemen. It's going to be great. He's going to tell some stories. He's going to update us on what's been going on in his life, including a WWE appearance, which happened right after we did the interview. Go figure.
Yeah, right.
But it's going to be great. He's so funny. He's such a good dude. If you haven't heard that interview and you don't know much about, tune in. You're going to fucking love him. I promise you that. And if Brucey is set up properly, I'll get him to do the social medias. If not, we'll throw it to somebody else.
No, we're good.
Okay, because I see you moving and shaking and stuff. I know you're a busy dude, so I'm trying to make sure I got your back, homie. That's how this goes. Go ahead, hit us with it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on Facebook at Top Rope Wrestling Talk. We are a publicly traded Facebook group. That means it is free to come in and free to post anything you want about wrestling. You come, hit that one in, we'll let you in, and, you know, the rest is history. And then also on Facebook, you can also find our merch page, TRWT Merch. That's where we sell our mugs, our shirts, our masks. So, yeah, go on there, check us out, get your merch, get your shirts. Get your mugs, get whatever you want.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more of that on this show too. I think I saw some messages in the background, but I wasn't really able to pay attention. So you're going to be seeing that in the near future.
And you can also find us on Twitter at Top Rope WT. We go on there. We plug shows. We ask questions. Then you can also find us on Instagram, which is at top_rope_wrestling_talk. Good God, that's Evan's fault.
You made it.
and you can also find us on YouTube under Fox Den Productions. This is our flagship show. We have a couple of other shows that we do, which is
that we're trying to do.
Yeah, we try to do. There's Mutant Rejects and then Drunk Upon a Time as well. There's our social medias.
Lots of fun, lots of content in one place. And I'm so excited for Shooter. I'm sorry, I got to say that again. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, Grandma Wendy, please tell everybody about our podcast, because I know you love to do that too. First Lady, take it away.
You can find us on anchor.fm/TopRopeWT.
TRWT.
Remember right now. TRWT?
You got it.
You think I remember? Anyways.
You had a week off. You're off your game. It's okay. It's okay. Finish strong.
I'm a little bit off today. So you can find us there. And once there, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, random miscellaneous ones that I don't even remember.
Lots of them.
But yeah, just wherever. So wherever you listen to podcasts, rate us, review us, give us them 4 or 5 stars. Tell people how much you love your grandma. Just, do the thing. Share it too. Share it with your friends, your family.
Share with everybody.
Your arch nemesis, the guy down the street who always shits on your lawn. Share it with everybody.
Share it with all of it. All
you got a yard shitter?
All the podcasts, everything. Share it around. Help us grow this a little bit. We've gotten pretty big. We want to get bigger.
Quick message from our merch master. Quick message. There's 2 extra mugs left right now that are already ready to ship. So if you want one, hit her up.
Yes, TRWT merch. Send a message. I want one of those mugs. You'll get it. All right. So again, thank you everyone who watched this live. Thank you to everybody watching us on YouTube. We appreciate it. We will be back to you next week unless we decide to throw something together over the weekend. We love you. We're looking forward to Shooter Storm. I know Bruce loved him. I love him. I think these guys are going to love him. I think you guys are going to love him. Everybody's going to love Shooter. Everybody.
Yeah.
He even does a whole Thanks Grandma promo. I think we could do something between that and Grandma Wendy. We could figure something out. We could do like a mashup. It'd be great. He talks a lot of shit. He says a lot of awful things. He's like, okay, thanks, Grandma. Love you. It's wonderful. If you've seen the promo, it's hilarious. But we can figure something out. But until then, for the First Lady, for the Evil One, for the high class man and myth and legend, I'm your boy, the Psycho. Everybody wear a mask. Don't be a Loki. And of course, Grandma.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
There it is.
Word. Boop.